Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Mental Side. This is episode 37, Wednesday Word Edition. Thanks once again for being here or joining us for the first time. In the mental side, we work to progress in our pursuit of becoming better leaders and working on positive thinking, mindfulness, and the art of meditation. Before we get today's word, thank you for being here. If you could, please give this channel a like, the video a like, share the link out to somebody, a teammate, family member, or friend who you think would find benefit in these talks. And let's keep the positive energy and the positive vibes moving. So with that, let's begin today's Wednesday word. And today we're following along with a similar theme as you've seen this week on Monday and Tuesday, where today we're going to focus on happiness. And I've heard this woman a number of times on a couple different podcasts that I listened to, which compelled me to find her on her very own podcast. And her name is Dr. Laurie Santos, who is a professor at Yale University. And her class has become the most popular class in the history of Yale. So, pretty commendable on her part. And her class is, she's a psychology professor, and her class talks on how to be happy. And happiness is one of those things where I think for many we think it just happens or we just become happy. And she mentioned in her episode that I just recently listened to on Learning University with Lewis Howe, which I highly recommend, where she said happiness is like a tire with a small hole in it where, you fill it up, you fill the tire up with the air, but that air is going to slowly leak out and you got to fill it back up. And happiness is the same way, where we fill our lives, we fill our day with joy and happiness. However, it's going to slowly leak out just with, life in general. I don't think it's possible to be happy in every single moment. However, we can find joy pretty much throughout the entire day. A lot of people, if you ask them, they'll say, when asked, how's your day going? And they might list off a number of things that they're not happy with, rather than focusing on the great things that are going on in your life. And Dr. Santos talked on that, and I wanted to share that with you on her strategies on bringing happiness to your day. So with that, her first bit of advice was to spend time and energy in the right way. And I'm just going to lead in with a quote from her where she states, "We tend to strive for certain things we think will make us happy. A job with a big salary or perfect grades. When in practice, we don't enjoy them as much as we think." And her rationale was because those things are fleeting. They are moments. For adults, you get that bonus, you get that pay raise, and it feels good in that moment. But then what happens? We're back to where we were, and we want more. Okay, so it's not sustaining. It's not something that is renewable. And we spend a lot of our time being distracted by things that aren't really helping us. We're glued to screens. We're missing out on things that truly make us happy in life, and that is just real life, face-to-face connections with our fellow man. And I think more so than ever with this quarantine, I think a lot of people are struggling with happiness because we're not having that face-to-face time, just that human interaction that we so desperately crave. And just having free time with nothing on the calendar or anything that's going to get in the way of our leisure. Those are things that, and I should have prefaced with that too, we tend to get overscheduled and distracted through thinking that I'm busy, so therefore I'm being productive. And I know throughout this quarantine, it's really made me look at myself and think about how I manage my time. And, I'm self-proclaimed workaholic. And I am happiness when I'm busy. However, being in this quarantine has really made me focus on where I'm spending my time, listing on my priorities. And it's been nice to not really have a lot on the calendar and really have more time to explore other things. So happiness comes from that creative boredom being a kid from the 90s, um, boredom is where we got the most creative. And that's where we found happiness, was being just in that moment, being creative, finding ways to entertain ourselves, finding ways to self-improve. For baseball, for example, if we didn't have enough guys to play, we didn't sit inside playing video games because we just really didn't have it. We didn't have, we had the NES or Super Nintendo or something like that. I remember PlayStation came out when I was in high school, but um, we just found ways to get better. We'd play wiffle ball, we'd play pickle, we would just do things that brought joy just from the being creative. Okay, so number one, before I go off on too many tangents here, was spend time and energy in the right way. So really look at your day, look at your week, where you're spending your energy. Number two, express gratitude. And we've talked about this before in prior episodes, where expressing gratitude and just giving thanks for the things that you are thankful for, the little things, focusing on what you do have as opposed to what you don't have. Again, like I said, a lot of people, when you talk to them and say, hey, how's your day going? Oh, fine. Oh, yeah, how come just fine? Well, this happened and this happened, and, I'm just not feeling it. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Instead of maybe saying, well, I woke up today, right? That's a positive right to begin with. I got food in my belly, roof over my head, was able to get to work or get where I needed in a vehicle. I was able to use my two legs and go for a walk, go for a jog. I was able to converse and have a conversation with a close friend or family member. So focusing on gratitude, what we do have as opposed to what we don't have. We use that a lot in the team sport world too. What can we do? What do we have? Instead of focusing on all the things that we don't have or what the other team might have that we don't have, what do we control? And that goes back to the ancient Stoics, Buddha, looking at what you do have as opposed to all the things that you don't have. Because you think about, if you're always thinking about all these things out there that you don't have, there's always something that we're going to want, always something that someone has that we covet. You're going to be miserable. Get introverted, or I should say introspective, and look within and say, okay, I am blessed because I have this. Okay? So rule 2, give gratitude, express gratitude, and thank others. Give gratitude for the things that other people do. And selfishly, by giving thanks and making sure that others feel appreciated, you're going to feel good about yourself. Number 3, do something nice for somebody else and talk with others. And that, if you listened in yesterday, part of Seneca, one of the ancient Stoics' daily routines, was every interaction he had with a human being, he looked at it as an opportunity to practice kindness. Okay? And I do this with my little boy, where, he and his little sister, they're about 2.5 years apart, and they will, like little kids do, fight over toys, fight over space, fight over mom and dad. And we continuously say to him, is this what kindness looks like? Are we being kind? So really doing something nice for someone else, being kind, and just engaging in random acts of kindness will help boost your well-being. And that just includes small gestures, and it doesn't have to be the big ones like donating money to a charity. That's great. However, it can just be small gestures. Reaching out to a friend via text or snail mail, holding the door open for someone. Maybe you notice there's just some trash on the sidewalk or in the street, and you pick it up and you just throw it away. You don't expect any kind of reward for it. You don't take a picture of it and post it on social media. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. And just looking for ways to do nice to other people. And wouldn't it be nice if we all just looked at it that way? Looking for opportunities to be nice. Right? Kind of something that we hear as kids, and something that we grow away from. If you ever watch little kids, and I taught a couple years in the elementary schools, and you look at little kids and they want to be helpful. They love helping the teacher. They love just doing the random acts of kindness. And we kind of get away from that as adults. When really, if we just kept that childlike humility of just doing good for others, just for the sake of doing good for others, we would find that makes us happy as well. So number 3, do something nice for somebody else, or just simply talk with other people. Reach out, ask how other people are doing, check in on an elderly family member, neighbor, or friend and just see how they're doing, just for the sake of seeing how they're doing. Number 4, find some time to be mindful. Here you are, right, on the mental side, where we talk about mindfulness a lot, where finding time, even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes in your day to be quiet and just focus on the present moment does wonders for your health. And when we first started this podcast series, we talked a lot about meditation and the art of meditation. And we'll come back to that at some point. However, what you probably remember, and if you don't, go back and re-listen, was we just talked about how that time of just being quiet and being present and being neutral with our thoughts just brings clarity, energy, and health to our minds. And in a world where we're always looking at screens, right? Even if it's just, work, we're staring at screens and blue light, we're watching TV, and I pointed over here because that's where my TV is. And we just feel that anxiety and stress from always being bombarded with all this information. And information's good, however, take it in small amounts, small quantities, right? I mean, once you understand the gist of what's going on around you, you can make your informed decisions and move on. But find that time to be mindful. Okay, do it for you. Look within. And I know when I first started practicing meditation, and even just adding like that morning part of my routine of quiet reading. For me, I enjoy reading a Bible verse. I enjoy reading a passage from the Daily Stoic. And that's just my quiet time, my time to get my head wrapped around my day. And I tell you what, when I do that, I just feel rejuvenated. And the 5th one, something you've always heard, get plenty of sleep, get plenty of exercise. And I am not really good about getting sleep. Okay, my mind is always running. And, sleep is one of those things that we think, it's a badge of honor to get less of it, or go to bed late, go to bed, or wake up early. And that's fine if you need to, but that's not really sustainable. The body needs a certain amount of sleep to recharge and heal. When you sleep is when your brain and body repairs itself. And if you're not getting adequate sleep, studies have shown, you're more susceptible to heart disease and, weight gain. Because if you're not getting adequate sleep, your body craves fatty, sugary foods. And so getting plenty of sleep and exercise. And, during this quarantine, I'll use myself as an example. I'm a weightlifter. I love lifting weights. No gyms are open right now, so I've had to get creative with the weightlifting side. But I've also implemented a lot more running and walking. I mean, I've done more running than I have in probably 8 years. And that 8 years ago, I did a sprint triathlon just for kicks and gigs to say I could for myself. And but now it's just nice. I go for a run. I don't do it for time. I kind of I just go out for a jog and take in my neighborhood, take in my community, and it gives me time to think. I listen to podcasts, or sometimes I just listen to good music, and I just come back feeling rejuvenated. I don't feel bogged down or tired, as you would think after running a good amount. I try to get, 3 or 4 miles in, not breaking any land speed records, but it's just a way to cleanse the body, cleanse the mind. And it's something I've added in, along with still trying to do some at-home strength training stuff. And I've really gotten into it, and it's really made me think, moving forward, how I still want to keep with the running. I still want to keep doing body weight workouts, even when I have access to a gym. So get plenty of exercise, get plenty of sleep, and, by practicing these habits, and I'll go back through that list one more time. By practicing spending more time and energy in the right way. Remember, just because you're sweating doesn't mean you're being productive, or just because you're moving doesn't mean you're being productive. Okay, so make sure you're looking at quality over quantity. Are you being efficient with your time? I'd always kid around with my students when they would say to me, well, Mr. Hamley, I put 2 to 3 hours in studying, and I still didn't do very good on the quiz or the test. And I would, kind of play devil's advocate and say, well, of those 2 to 3 hours, how much of that was focused on studying? Was the TV on? Were you texting? Were was music blaring in the background? Or were you giving really undivided study time? Because you can get a lot of studying done in 30 minutes if it's uninterrupted. So think about that. So spend time and energy the right way. Take time to express gratitude. Give thanks. Even just to say to someone who does something for you, hey, I appreciate that, or I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And you'll get people saying, oh, yeah, no problem, okay. People are going to be surprised at how thankful you are, and be genuine, and you're not faking it, but you're just being truly genuine and grateful for acts of kindness towards you, and even just looking within and being grateful for the things that you have in your life. And you'll find that you'll come out of that time of just having that time of giving gratitude. You'll come out of it just feeling this warm, fuzzy feeling, and it's just good medicine. Okay, number 3. Sorry, I'm trying to hold off a cat here. He just hopped up on the couch. Do something nice for somebody else and talk with others. We as human beings are social creatures. So forge those relationships. Reach out, get beyond just text messaging. Look each other in the eyes. Watch each other's mannerisms, body language, and connect with your fellow man. Especially, as a ball player, with your teammates. Get to know each other. What makes each other tick? The best teams I've been a part of and the successful teams I've read about and watched, they all talk about just how much of a brotherhood they have and that connection. And it doesn't come from just showing up at practice for 2 to 3 hours. It comes from by building those relationships, building connections. Number 4, find some time to be mindful. Give yourself that time to find that headspace, reflect, be quiet, listen. Listen to yourself. Okay, the body knows what it needs, so just listen to yourself. Practice mindfulness. And lastly, get plenty of sleep and exercise. And I would even add to Dr. Santos there and say, practice having a proper diet of nutrition. It's okay to enjoy good food, man. I enjoy good food. However, when we have too much of it, we all know if we have pizza and ice cream every day, it tastes good, but it loses its zest. Okay? I know for me, pizza and ice cream taste a lot better after I've gone a week or 2 without it. So that kind of helped. That would even tie into enjoying just the simple things in life. If we overindulge, though, we start to lose appreciation for it. Okay, so plenty of sleep, plenty of exercise. Okay, I know I went long today. I apologize. I thought this was just meaningful material. I would look up Dr. Laurie Santos. I have listened to her on a number of podcasts, and then I found out that she has her own, so I got into her own podcast. And like we've talked about many times, success leaves clues. So follow those clues. If you find meaning and like what you've been hearing on the mental side, please give this channel and video a like, and let's just get the message out there. This world needs it more than ever. We need more positive leaders. We need more servant leaders, people who are looking to just better our community as a whole. And go out there and spread love and kindness. It's really pretty simple. Love your fellow man. Treat everyone with respect. Listen more than you talk. And just by doing these simple things, these things that really take no talent, the world is yours. All right? So until I see you again, keep on slugging. And I look forward to having you back here with me.